Hi, Murray, and welcome to Talking Allergies. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Grace. Great to meet you.
To start off with, could you tell us a little bit about you and why you're here?
My name's Mari Kinsella, and I'm the Managing Director of International Exhibition and Conference Group, and we're the organiser of the From Allergy Show, which is coming up on the 21st and 22nd of October in Sydney.
Very exciting.
It is exciting, and there's so much there on offer. We can't wait for the show to take place.
Mari, can you tell me a little bit about your allergy story and why you started the Free From?
Yes, well, my daughter, when she was very young, had always an allergic reaction to nuts. We thought just only nuts. And when she started school at 5, it seemed to get worse, her reactions. And of course, as a mum and you're sending off your child to school, it was really quite scary to be dealing with a child with an anaphylaxis reaction. So at school, of course, the whole issue with EpiPens have to be carried the whole time, and there's pictures of your child around the school. It's quite daunting. And I realised how tough it was for families because even though my daughter was a little bit older, she still had to deal with the fact that she couldn't eat certain foods, and she was very good at detecting which foods may have nuts in them. But I just found there was such a need for a greater understanding of allergic reactions out in the community that it would be great to have a show that not only had a whole range of products for a whole range of intolerances, but also a very strong educational program that we're running at the From Allergy Show.
Could you touch on a little bit about that educational program?
Yeah, look, we've got some fantastic speakers, and they're speaking on a whole range of topics. Simply just practically navigating allergy and intolerance, just hearing it from Alex Stewart, who is from Low Toxic Life. We've got how you can create an allergy-free home on offer, hearing an expert in that field talk about just reducing the toxins in your home, and other sessions such as looking after your gut on a low FODMAP diet. So we touch on specific intolerances as well in the educational program. I'm going to be going to, because I'm just fascinated to hear dining out with celiac disease. It's really tough for people that have celiac disease that go into restaurants, and there's always such a limited amount for them on many restaurants' menus. So it's really good to be able to go along to an educational session and hear from experts about how to navigate certain intolerances that you have out in the world.
It is. When your daughter was first diagnosed, did you find it difficult to manage your day-to-day life?
Well, yes, because you're always on alert and on guard. Like in our home, it was okay, but when we went out, we always had to make sure that we'd packed the EpiPen. We'd had to be mindful of if we went anywhere that we'd have to, like to people's homes, our friends' homes, just remind the host that Georgie did have allergic reactions, severe allergic reactions to nuts. And people are generally really good and very mindful, but it's like always being on guard. You're always on alert to what could happen. And so that's the toughest part, I think. When we were traveling, it was always particularly difficult as well. I'll never forget the time we were in Japan, and we'd just arrived early to our hotel and we couldn't access the room. So we decided to leave our luggage with reception and went out and thought, oh, we'll stop in and have something to eat. It was sort of late morning and the kids were hungry. So I explained as well as I could that my daughter has allergies to nuts and shellfish, and they assured me that it was free of nuts or shellfish, but in fact it wasn't. My daughter had a tiny, tiny taste of it and then had a sudden allergic reaction, and we left the EpiPen in the suitcase back at the hotel. So that was really scary time. It all worked out fine in the end, but you can never drop your guard. I think that's what's really tough about being a parent with a child with an allergy or severe allergies. So I think I'm very mindful of parents that are always having to be on guard, to be caring for their children, to making sure they're protected as well as you can from them, having experiences where they could be subjected to their intolerance. So I'm very mindful of parents and how tough it is for them.
I'm so thankful that you actually were able to work out a situation overseas as well, that she was okay in the end.
Yes, it was, we were looking for the likes of Zyrtec, that we didn't have any Zyrtec on us. The EpiPen was at least sort of 10 minutes away. And so I'd never forget when I just charged back with my daughter back to the hotel reception to get that EpiPen, and then to try and work out buying Zyrtec in Japan was also very tough indeed as well. So it's all those extra challenges that are thrown at you as a parent that you have to deal with the child with severe allergic reactions. And we were very mindful of that in our development of the From Allergy Show, that we wanted to cover as many intolerances as we could, so that there was something there for a broad range of our community, and that there was definitely an opportunity to have learnings and to be able to come into the show. And the learning theatre is all included in the price. There's no extra charge. And these sessions run all of Saturday and all of Sunday. So there's a lot there for everyone.
That's fantastic, making sure that we're inclusive of our whole community of allergies, intolerances and autoimmune conditions.
Yes, yes. And as we know, there seems to be an increase in the amount of allergies in the community, and there's different theories as to why that is the case. So I'm also fascinated by that, like why, as we go through the years and the decades, that our intolerances are increasing, including anaphylactic reactions. So I'm not sure if it's being reported better through the hospitals, but certainly it is on the increase, which we have to be mindful of.
Is there something that you've learned over the years as an allergy mum that you would like to impart on others?
Yeah, look, I think it's really important to be mindful and the whole time of your child with their intolerance, but to not be overreactive as well. I've noticed that when my daughter was going for play dates at friends' houses, the reaction of people when I said, look, my daughter has severe intolerance, particularly to nuts, so can I just ask that you be mindful of the food that's being offered? And some people get really concerned and can overreact to that suggestion that they're at risk. And I had to reassure the mums and sometimes the dads, look, my daughter's pretty good. Like, can normally detect something that may have nuts in it, but can you just please be mindful of not putting anything out that does have nuts? And I think it's a matter, what I think is important is to reassure other people as well that it's okay, that my child can, work beautifully and play beautifully with other kids without this constant fear that there's going to be a nut jumping out from some of the play area. So I think it's about being mindful and not overreacting when you are communicating to others that your child has got an allergic intolerance, which is severe, but to encourage them that it's okay. It's okay. Just be mindful that you don't have to place that food out, and all will work out.
It's fantastic advice.
Yeah, I think sometimes it can be scary, but it's about creating an environment and making sure that the environment is as safe as possible. That's the key. And the older they get, I think sometimes it's harder. Like as a teenager, my daughter would, of course, take more risks and be sort of embarrassed to say, look, I can't eat certain foods. So I think as she got older, it became riskier rather than when she was tiny and I could support her and make sure that mums and dads at play dates were mindful. So I think as she got older, it was more difficult in a way to manage the intolerance. So luckily, my daughter hasn't had an anaphylactic reaction because she is very good. But I also know that I'm not there the whole time to make sure the environment is safe. And that's difficult for parents. So you think that children are at greatest risk when they're much younger, but I feel they're at a greater risk as they get older into their teenage years, particularly through 14, 15 and 16, when they can be very sort of self-conscious and not wanting to be different to anyone else. So they'll sort of go along with whatever's happening. So I have to constantly reinforce to my daughter that to be mindful the whole time in any of her social situations.
And that's a very important discussion to have as terms of having a child with allergies and going through the different life stages and managing it differently.
Yes, exactly. And then as an adult, or she's not an adult, she's now 19, so sort of an adult, but I still need to be very protective of her wherever I can, because once again, I think it'll take to her mid-20s to really not embrace the situation, but deal fully with the situation and understand how dangerous it can be if she does have an anaphylactic reaction without having her EpiPen at arm's length. But when the girls go out in particular, it's even more difficult with teenagers when they dress up to go out. To be carrying an EpiPen can be very painful for them, but so necessary.
It is, putting it in the clutches of the handbags and making
That's
sure
right.
you've got it, and making sure that the bag can fit your EpiPen as well.
That's exactly right. Exactly right indeed.
As someone that runs an organisation that helps people with allergies at the Free From Allergy Show, and as an allergy mum, how have you seen the impact of allergies and intolerances on someone's life?
Well, I think it can be very debilitating in some cases. Like when we ran the first Free From an Allergy show in Melbourne back in 2019, that was pre-COVID, we had people who reported back to us. It was the first time they felt comfortable entering an exhibition environment, knowing that there was understanding by all the traders who were involved and by the organisers that this was an environment that was sympathetic to the intolerances that our visitors had. And I was really surprised and delighted to be getting some of these survey results back when it was at last we can go somewhere where we feel that we can be safe as we go out and enjoy our weekend. And it made me realise how tough it can be for some people who can be very restricted. And it's not just sort of the eating of the foods themselves and can bring on the reaction. Even sometimes if the skin, that one person reported back that even if their skin has any contact with a particular item, whether it be nuts or shellfish or lactose or whatever, that they can have a really severe allergic reaction to that. So once again, someone reported back to us that they were really pleased not to see balloons at this environment because they have a very strong reaction to latex and get really concerned, and if they even see a balloon in an environment. And I just realised how difficult it can be. And this show is really about helping people having a better life. We're not saying that we can cure anyone with a particular allergy or intolerance, but we're trying to show how they can have a better life and what products are out there that they can enjoy that helps them in their daily life.
That's fantastic. It is really hard to find different products that can actually assist in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, and we've got this great show where everything's under the one roof. So there's everything from dairy-free, nut-free, lactose intolerant foodstuffs, vegan, organic, and look, gluten-free, of course. So the list goes on. Plus, there's products there that help people who have asthma or eczema to help them in their daily lives, because that both asthma and eczema, of course, can be very debilitating.
Has there been a moment that you've been proud of that the Free From Plus Allergy show has done?
Look, I think the first show that we did, I was delighted with that because of, I mentioned the survey results that we were getting back, that people were relieved to, as I mentioned, to finally get into an environment where they felt safer than they had been in other entertainment environments. So I was very proud to think that, well, we've delivered an event, we've delivered something that has helped those that do have intolerances have a happy Sunday or a happy Saturday when they came to the show. So I really feel that we did very well to achieve that great level of satisfaction from those visitors that do suffer from a whole range of intolerances and could come along and enjoy the show over the 2 days.
That's fantastic to hear, and I bet they felt inclusive too.
Exactly, very inclusive.
Where can people find out more about the Free From Allergy show and buy tickets?
Well, at the 𝘫𝘠𝘭𝘬𝘪𝘦𝘥 website, the tickets are on sale there, and there's discounted tickets prior to the event. So it's better to get in prior to the event and purchase your tickets and to make sure that you've got tickets to come along than buying on site. So there's a lot of information on our Free From an Allergy website. It's a great resource because during COVID, of course, we used to run virtual Free From an Allergy expos. So we've ran a whole range of them across the years that we were all in lockdown. So there's marvellous resources there, from recipes to dietitians presenting, allergy experts presenting. So that's a great resource for all of your listeners as well, the Free From an Allergy website. But nothing beats coming face to face, of course, and meeting at the show itself.
It doesn't. We will definitely be there as well on the 21st. And
Fantastic. That's great to hear, Grace.
Thank you so much, Marie, for joining us on Talking Allergies, for sharing your story, and also for your involvement with the Free From Plus Allergy show. Very much looking forward to it.
Thanks, Grace. I appreciate your time today.